I'd like to say that I have effectively returned to buying canned generic soda. I will no longer be drinking from a SodaStream bottle on my streams, and I've effectively solved the crisis by doing so. It's not performative at all. It's changing lives. So there you go. Hey, this is a small thing that I could do. It's my sacrifice. It's my sacrifice, but I'm willing to make it. There, this can't be a controversial title. See what I did there, everyone? I said the word Palestine. Well, I typed it out, but I've said it out loud. I've said the word out loud. Something that the hero of mankind has not been able to do. Of course, you know who I'm referring to. This savior.
I got this. What? Diana!
This is actual footage, all right? Actual footage of IDF soldier Gal Gadot saving, mind you, saving Palestinian children. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, they're a nebulous country. It came pretty heavy-handed. Like it's just an incredibly tone-deaf thing to have done, to be totally honest with you, from the ground on up. I'm not someone who's like offended by popcorn media or offended by mainstream. Like, it's just like, these are fucking popcorn movies. You don't go to the fourth iteration in a Marvel film for some deep analysis of world issues. All right, I go there to watch the rich flying man blow shit up. Okay, that's what I want to see. I want to see the rich flying man blow shit up. That's the entire purpose of me buying the ticket. All right, but then to put this in the movies is really strange. Anyways, the scene is dragging on forever. Okay, here it is. Yes! Yes, queen! And that's how you solve the conflict, everyone. That's your two-state solution right there. Okay? That's it. That's it. That looks worse than Batman versus Superman. True. Now, I don't really have anything bad to say about Gal Gadot. You know, I think it is a little unusual that they had to kind of retroactively change all the accents in the the DC universe in order to accommodate her, rather than she alone learn a different accent. But that's fine. That's fine. I've nothing to say about that. It's just it's unfortunate that she decided to weigh in on this. Like, here's the thing. Right now, and I'm going to say this, libs, and I'm sorry, a handful of you sock dems, there are good sock dems, but a handful of you sock dems, you're all showing your ass right now, okay? Mostly libs, mostly like straight, pure libs, classical libertarians, they're showing their ass, but everyone is pretty much showing their ass. My advice would be, in this situation, if you don't want to take a stance, because you just want to both sides this thing or something, then just don't say anything at all. That would probably be a better idea than whatever the fuck it is Gal Gadot is attempting to do here. But anyways, I'm sure you saw this making the rounds today, and of course, this also came alongside her shutting off all comments. There's a silencing of the free speech right here. There's that. There's that. Sock Dems are libs, yes, but there's different tiers of lib, all right? There's definitely a ladder of lib. And I put Sock Dem at the very height, where Sock Dem is basically the top of the pyramid, the top of the food chain in terms of like poggies, at which point they could evolve and leave the liberal arc, the pyramid, if you will, the Ponzi scheme, and then join the rest of the left, trying to, you know, better the world and save the planet kind of shit. But instead they're unfortunately stuck. They're stuck to the food pyramid. So for that alone, I will say that there's obviously a hierarchy. They are the good ones. They are the good ones. I mean, at the end of the day, basically the policies proposed by Bernie Sanders, those were all Sock Dem policies. Those are social democratic policies, which I think would be an amazing, wondrous thing to have in America. Don't get me wrong. I would like them in Canada. I mean, the only thing that we really have is cheaper universities and healthcare, as long as it doesn't involve the face. Realistically, isn't a one-state solution, one in which Palestinians are granted equal rights and positions in the government, is better than a two-state solution? Well, the problem is, I do not see a realistic one-state solution in which there will be equitable rights for both parties. I mean, we've been operating in a de facto one-state solution for a while now. I've heard that proposition as well, but I don't see it playing out. I mean, what is the history of this been so far? Like this may be something once this cycle is over, because, you know, make no mistake, everybody, to everyone who's new to this, if this whole thing wasn't so horrifying, I would almost find it adorable how there's this new generation of people with like outrage and brand new outrage. Like I'm seeing that picture being shared around, you know, of like the basically Israel and Palestine, and then the shrinkage of the territory that was occupied by Palestinian, or sorry, basically the territory that was considered Palestinian land. Before it continued to shrink, and that's popping up, and people are like, "Can you believe this?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's almost adorable that like everyone is sharing these things. This is kind of cute. At the same time, like it's utterly horrifying, because this has been happening for a while now. Like this is 2014, I want to say, but Israelis watching bombs drop on Gaza from front row seats, just pulling up the popcorn and the chairs while you're watching the ethnic cleansing kind of shit. I will reiterate, nothing but the most incredible solidarity with all the beautiful, wonderful Jewish leftists around the world who are making noise about this, and basically doing that in the face of overwhelming hostility from right-wingers who may just be anti-Semitic at their core, or right-wingers who are posturing, or libs who are posturing that they deeply care about the plight of this situation, mainly because they have some strange religious prophecy that they want to see fulfilled. As if, like, yes, we have to make sure that the people of Judea are in the promised land so we can see the ushering in of the second coming of Jesus. Like, that's all super fucked up, you know? But anyways, this is Gal Gadot's statement. And I stand by this. I think you can almost sing this to John Lennon's Imagine. My heart breaks, my country is at war. I worry for my family, I worry for my people. This is a vicious cycle that has been going on for far too long. Ooh, Israel deserves to live. Yeah, it's like I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. You know, the mainstream media is both sides in this a lot. Yeah, everyone is. I mean, it's not popping up here, but they're like the top US trending hashtag for a while was like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict could end or escalate into all-out war. And I was like, just labeling this as just like nothing other than like a war between two equal sides is incredibly disingenuous. Incredibly disingenuous. Did you guys know that there was a controversy where Israel murdered a group of children playing soccer, and Gal Gadot supported them by doing this in a Facebook post? And then there's the scene in World War 1984 where Wonder Woman saves a group of kids playing with the soccer ball. There's that one, yes. Israeli military launched missiles at children playing on Gaza. I'm sending my love and prayers to my fellow Israeli citizens, especially to all the boys and girls who are risking their lives protecting my country against this horrific acts conducted by Hamas, who are hiding like cowards behind women and children. We shall overcome. Like, I love how they keep saying that Hamas is using kids as human shields, as if they have like babies strapped to them as Kevlar or something like that. When, like, you know, the day before, like, Israel effectively bombed a building to dust. They killed 9 children in the process. I mean, those kids weren't working for Hamas. I doubt they even really have an understanding of what Hamas is, and I mean the entire building was bombed. So I'm pretty sure there was no using them as human shields in that situation. You know, kind of. It's like it's super fucked up. Before I get to the extremely yikesy things, this one actually is pretty fucking yikesy. The IDF turned the bombing of the apartment complex into a meme. If you don't understand what this says, it's before and after. I don't know that because I understand Hebrew now. It's because there's a translation. But yeah, they're tweeting out memes. They're memeing the genocide. So there's that. This is a lynch mob in Haifa. Palestinian residents in Wadi Nisnan are scared after hearing thousands or hundreds of them out to destroy them, calling for people to come protect them. But like with sticks and things, like an actual lynch mob with sticks. No, I won't be playing the lynching one. I mean, I'm sure everyone's already seen it or heard of it, but there's effective footage of what appears to be a lynching. Hasn't been confirmed, but looks like they were like dragged on a car in that scene, which is definitely TOS. The Prime Minister of Israel: the weak crumble, are slaughtered and are erased from history, while the strong, for good or for ill, survive. The strong are respected, and alliances are made with the strong, and in the end, peace is made with the strong. What? What? Like this amongst so many other posts, I've just been like, is honestly are comic book writers scripting these things? Like, is this supposed to be Doctor Doom? What is going on?
The weak crumble, are slaughtered, and are erased from history, while the strong, for good or for ill, survive. The strong are respected, and alliances are made with the strong, and in the end, peace is made with the strong.
What are you doing? What are you saying out loud? I mean, this is quiet time talk. This is bed talk. You know, this is like behind closed doors. You don't say this part out loud. You know, what is going on? What are you going to say next? Yeah, like people are like, blood and soil. I was like, looking for more info, but it appears to be a lynching of a motorcyclist, according to this tweet. A mob of Israelis at Bat Yam, Tel Aviv. There were no other videos tonight, allegedly showing lynch mobs with bats and other makeshift weapons on the streets of Haifa. I'm not going to play it, but yeah, this one's making the rounds as well. I'll say this: it doesn't go far enough. Thank fuck someone said something. All right. Almost every political party in the United States, Canada, as well as Britain. Not that I'm expecting much from fucking Richard Spencer Light to do anything about this. Fucking Keir Starmer. Like, I love the Keir Starmer, by the way. This is a total non sequitur, but Keir Starmer effectively just bottomed out his political party. You know, Sargon of Akkad style. Like, Count Dankula could not have done anything close to what Keir Starmer did. And then at the same time, he's now like, cancel culture is the reason that we're not doing as well. It's the cancel culture, you see. I was like, oh, wow. Even right-wingers aren't that brazen, you know? Like, what the hell? What is going on? So Canada, make no mistake, the exact same. We got Justin Trudeau, who's basically both sides in this, you know, doing the we stand with the people of Israel to be able to protect their homeland kind of shit. Aaron O'Toole, naturally going just full blown, like, we need to eradicate Palestinians off the face of the earth. I will drink the blood of Palestinian children. It's the only thing that helps me gain power. It's my adrenochrome kind of shit. And then finally, Jagmeet Singh made the statement.
Asking you again about the situation that's happening in Jerusalem and Gaza. We heard from the Prime Minister today, yesterday. He kind of basically had comments that were very similar to yours. I'm sure you heard those. What more does Canada need to do to achieve peace in this region?
What's going on is very serious. And my heart goes out to the folks and the community members, Palestinians that are struggling with horrible loss and extreme violence right now. It is very scary. And we've seen some of the reports, the images. It is shocking and it is horrible. And so what we're calling on, and what I'll be calling on later on today as well, is that Canada can play a stronger role. And Justin Trudeau specifically can play a stronger role. One of the things that we've mentioned and other human rights experts have said, we need to put pressure on Israel to engage in a peaceful resolution. And so one of those elements of pressure that we can place is making sure we're not selling arms to Israel that are being used in a conflict which is breaching international law or violating human rights. So that's a concrete step we can take, something that I support, and something that international human rights groups have said. We need to apply pressure so that we can encourage a peaceful resolution. We need peace. People in Israel and in Palestine have the right to live in peace, but we need to apply pressure to achieve that.
So obviously it doesn't go anywhere near as far where I would want, but at least it's refreshing that someone is saying out loud, yeah, we need to basically hold Israel accountable for what they're basically the atrocities that they're committing, and stop selling arms to them. Stop. Like, I would like to cut all material aid to Israel as long as they're involved in these actions. I think that would go a very long way. I'm sure people here have heard of the BDS movement, which is kind of taking it upon yourselves. I've heard people argue against it, saying that it's similar to like curing cancellation, right? Like, are you just going to stop buying curing machines? Which you should, because they're just kind of like really, really wasteful. And like, I mean, the coffee's not bad, but at the end of the day, like, if you just use a regular coffee maker, you'll get coffee, and you won't need to have 20,000 little plastic cups lying around your house all the time. But anyways, the idea behind that, I'd like to say that I have effectively returned to buying canned generic soda. I will no longer be drinking from a SodaStream bottle on my streams, and I've effectively solved the crisis by doing so. It's not performative at all. It's changing lives. So there you go. Hey, this is a small thing that I could do. It's my sacrifice. It's my sacrifice, but I'm willing to make it. I'm willing to do what it takes. All right, and I'm taking a stance, a very hard stance. But more importantly, it would be a lot more beneficial if it came from, say, the government of Canada. I think that would be a lot more effective if the government of Canada, let alone the government of the United States, made some formal statement of, we are suspending. Like, they're not even asking the government of Canada or the government of the United States to do sanctions on Israel, which I believe would be incredibly necessary and effective. But it's more, hold them at the very least accountable for what is taking place. Like the disproportionate, like the game of numbers. Have you ever seen those charts where it's like, here's the number of Palestinian children who have died in the course of the past decade versus the amount of Israeli kids who have died in the past decade? The reason I reference children is because it's a pretty easy metric for us to judge. Like, it's not as if, I know people have already been adding me, being like, well, what do you measure conflict based on how many bodies are piled up? I'm like, okay, well, what about kids? Kids are 100% innocent. I mean, they should not be involved. They shouldn't be involved in combat whatsoever. So I think dead kids and the measure of dead kids is pretty telling in terms of horrifying atrocities, right? Like, that's what I would say. To be fair, BDS stands for boycotts, but also divestments and sanctions. It does. It absolutely does. That's what I was getting to. Okay. So beyond the performativeness of, yes, I'm drinking canned soda rather than a SodaStream, and I've also ordered a SodaStream alternative from this company in Michigan that apparently makes them. Hopefully, it turns out they're not doing war crimes too. I'm really sick. I'm really sick of just trying to enjoy myself a nice cool glass of soda and finding out that I'm actually supporting war crimes in the process. It's not great. You know, it's not wonderful. I just wish I had a war crime free soda. Is that too much to ask in today's day and age? You know, like, I don't think that's unreasonable. Please. You know, SodaStream does war crimes, while SodaStream directly it's an Israeli product. They say on the box, it says on the box, there's this nice little friendly logo that's basically like, this was made in conjunction with Palestinians in peaceful business together, or something like that. And I was like, ooh, oh no, that seems like it's a little bit exploitative. I don't like the fact that you have to put that on the box. You should make your own soda brand, serve soda. I got too many projects right now, Ashley. All right, there's just too many projects going on all the time. I gotta de-escalate my amount of projects. But anyway, sorry. But yes, so outside of the performative aspect of, obviously, the BDS movement calling for that, the more important aspect is, of course, and will actually make a substantial and immediate difference, is countries holding Israel to task, is people who are considered strategic allies to the nation withdrawing support, aid and or even better, yes, imposing sanctions. Like we impose sanctions upon poor nations all the time, the poorest nations in the world. Like, do you genuinely care about Venezuela? Do you care about the Venezuelan people? Do you want to make sure that they stop eating rats and get rid of that awful, dirty communism and socialism that has plagued the nation? Well, maybe you should stop strangling Venezuela, right? Maybe you should stop doing that. I now instinctively say Venezuela instead of Venezuela, just from parroting right-wing talking points so much. But anyways, yeah, stop imposing sanctions on Venezuela, all right? If you're worried about the people suffering in the streets, maybe you should stop imposing sanctions on the country. Just a thought. Might save a lot of lives, you know? That might be a thing. But when you have a rich nation that is happening to commit human atrocities, commit war crimes, to murdering children indiscriminately, lots of kids too, lots of dead kids, then that's something that I think would be a lot more appropriate to try and levy that kind of power, right? I mean, what is the point of countries like that doing this? Anyways, I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially because I think the United States just prevented, let me see, I want to make sure I get this right. The US, oops, Gal Gadot, why, get out of my life. The U.S. blocked the UN Security Council from issuing a statement aimed at reducing tensions between Israel and Palestinians, diplomats say. Sources told the AFP that 14 out of the 15 Security Council members were in favor of the statement. The U.S. also blocked a similar text on Monday. So, I mean, the U.S., and this is very indicative of where liberals' priorities lie in this, is doing a very concerted kind of like, you know, thing. Like, we're gonna wait till this passes, and there's a reason for that. I've been, you know, I'm old. I've said this before. I'm really old. I'm older than the dirt that I sleep in, and so I have been through a few of these cycles. I've actually been through a lot of these cycles, and what usually happens is that you'll have a situation in which Palestinians are getting forcibly kicked out of their homes, their own homes. It's not as if it's like empty, dry land or anything, and then all of a sudden they're building houses on top of that. I mean, that happens as well. But there's also just the actual forceful eviction of people from their own homes and pushed and enclosed into smaller and tighter space. That happens, and as that happens, there's that combined with human atrocities. People getting beaten, people getting arrested, people getting killed, stuff of that nature. And Hamas, being the super, super fucked up evil terrorist organization that it is, responds in something gruesome, like they'll target a school, they'll target a hospital, whatever they can, right? And they'll fire some missiles. Now, most of the time, they don't actually get any impact, all right? Most of the time, a couple of those missiles fire off, and the Iron Dome protects them. It catches it, and then everything's completely fine. And then Israel returns tenfold. Carnage, just the dropping of the missiles, the bombs, the fucking leveling of the city. And everyone is outraged. Everyone is, and, you know, different forms of outrage. I will say this cycle, it has been better than I've ever seen before for just what seems to be very large-scale condemnation, to the point where hold politicians accountable. The people on the street who accosted Andrew Yang, fuck yes. Oh, that's so glorious. That is holding people's feet to the fire. Hold people's feet to the fire. Hold them accountable. Don't let them run away from this. Don't let them, like, to the person who's been grilling Jagmeet Singh and asking him multiple times to make a statement on that. Good on you. Good on you. To the person who is grilling that U.S. Defense Secretary and getting him to continuously avoid saying that he actually feels that Palestinians have a right to defend themselves, which is pretty fucked up. You know, he's like, well, I think that, Israelis have the right to self-defense. That we stand with that. It's like, okay, cool. But what about Palestinians? Do they also have a right to self-defense? He's like, come on, man. Do you want me to say it out loud? What are we doing here? Come on. You know the deal. Come on. You little scamp. What are you trying to pull off here? But anyways, hold them accountable. That's definitely very important. But anyways, this whole cycle, and I'm saying I've been through this a number of times, the whole thing repeats itself because all of a sudden the bombs cease, the fighting stops, the outrageous crimes against humanity are not as apparent and visual, and then everyone forgets about it. And then we go about our business and we talk about different things. And make no mistake, this time next month, I could be talking about something completely different and you'll all have forgotten about it. It'll just be a footnote and then it'll start up again. And every single time this cycle keeps happening, more children end up dying and more land continues to be ceded. That's the problem. every single time this happens, you know? Last we'll be talking about the memes. It's true. I mean, it's true. What are we if not meme lords at the end of the day? But that's why it's important. That's why it's important to hold them accountable. Otherwise, this will be a perpetual cycle that'll never end.
Hey, do you like movies? Do you like Serfs? Do you want movies and Serfs watching the movies? So then come over to the new channels. It's the Serfs the cinema. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Can you do the thing, you know, that thumbs up and comment and all those things that help us out in the algorithm that controls every aspect of our lives? Also, if you happen to have a Facebook account, can you delete it? Like, just delete it. You should probably delete your Facebook account because it's not a great company. But hey, if you can't do that for whatever reason, I understand. And could you also go to facebook.com/thesurftimes then and give us a little like and a follow. We're just trying to push back against the fact that people like Ben Shapiro happen to dominate the platform entirely. And when everyone asks why do older generations believe the things they believe, one of the problems is the majority of them on social media use Facebook. So to counter that, we're just going to be on there too now. Also, if you happen to have a union or a worker co-op or even a leftist project, podcast, website, Zoom, MySpace, it doesn't matter. We will advertise it for free on this channel. All you got to do is go to weareserfs.com and use the forms that we got there, weareserfs.com. Thanks, everybody.
To our gods, I'm Raft and Xander Corvus. We shall build golden idols in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker. Our soft, spongy flesh is yours to command. To our lords, Evan Nudie, Trevor R., Alexander Thaler, Ryan Lubin, Bisexual Black Gamer, Toe Fox, and Jeffrey Lamb, we proudly carry your sigils onto the battlefield. And to our Knights of the Round Table, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Timothy Hart, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophagic, Saren 42, Chronic to Hemphog, Callie Kotka, The Great Pudini, Von Jani, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Encosin, J. Fraser Cartwright, Jimmy Bignuts, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Nicholas Marks, Jopi, Josh Mickelson, Melissa Murphy, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, and Constance Joyce Lacheris. We tip our cap and lift our mug and salute you.